and we're talking about setting up a public health emergency system. So there's two basic functions you're performing. One is reduce the spread of the disease. Two, make sure that you can treat the number of people who get infected, right? So reduce the spread the best you can. You do that through testing. You do that through density reduction, reduce the spread. Second half of the equation, you must be able to treat the number of people who do get infected, and you need a hospital system, a healthcare system that can do that, okay? So that's what we're working on. The state has authorized 28 labs within the state to conduct testing. That will dramatically increase the number of tests we can take. The state is contracting with a national lab that is supposed to be getting FDA approval to do what's called automated testing, which could increase our capacity by the thousands. We could actually be up to about 5,000 per day next week if the FDA approval works and everything works. The second way you reduce the spread besides testing is reduce the density of people. No gathering with 500 people or more. From 0 to 500, we're reducing the occupancy by 50%. So 50% of your seated capacity is the new capacity for a facility. Those new rules will go into effect 5 o'clock on Friday, except for the Broadway theaters in Manhattan, where it will go into effect 5 o'clock today. These rules don't apply to schools, hospitals, nursing homes, mass transit facilities. Any business that can't maintain their current occupancy or these new occupancy rules, with that diligent cleaning, they should contact Empire State Development, and Empire State Development will give them what's called a close order, direct them to close. That's important for businesses for legal reasons. And their phone number for ESD is 212-803-3100. That then has to work and be coordinated with the capacity to treat the number of infected people. So first of all, most people who contract the virus will self-resolve or be treated at home. That's about 80% of the people. For the remainder, 20%, we've talked about the vulnerable populations, et cetera, you need hospital capacity to handle that number. First of all, we're not doing it today, but the healthcare system should be on notice that we might cancel at one point elective surgeries. Elective surgeries are about 25 to 35% of the hospital beds, believe it or not. Department of Health is accelerating regulations to get more nurses and personnel trained and put into different positions. We're asking former doctors and nurses to reconnect with your old hospital, your old healthcare employer, to be on an on-call basis. Department of Health will accelerate your recertification on an emergency basis, so if we need you, we'll have a reserve workforce. National Guard has a number of medics and medically trained personnel and EMTs. We are now identifying them and identifying them for a reserve staffing capacity also. Medical schools we're contacting, again for the same reason, to identify possible reserve healthcare professionals who we could call from a medical school if we wind up in a staffing shortage. We're also looking at temporary hospital facilities, what facilities the state owns, what facilities the state has, that if we need actual physical space, we could actually expand the healthcare system by identifying temporary hospital facilities now. and coordinating the upstate and the downstate hospitals. If you run out of capacity downstate, you have upstate capacity. Special concern has always been nursing homes and senior assisted facilities. Why? Because they are the vulnerable population. We're putting additional requirements on nursing homes. All staff must wear masks. All staff must be monitored for symptoms as they're coming in. No non-medical staff personnel to enter a nursing home. This means no visitors in a nursing home. If a person is in a dire situation, then certainly let them see their family. In that case, the family should wear protective equipment, et cetera, if they're going into the facility. And we'll leave that up to the discretion of the facility. We have several districts across the state that close. You will see this happening every day. For example, in Nassau, we have the Plainview Old Bethpage Central School District that's closing for 2 weeks. The most recent numbers, you see the state is up to 328 cases, 112 new cases. There are several new counties, Albany, Broome, Delaware, Dutchess, Herkimer, and Monroe, now have cases today. They didn't prior to today.